Hello there. Welcome to New Player Guide to Retail World of Warcraft, Episode 6. My name is Yogurt. I'll be your host tonight, or today, whenever you're watching this. Last time we left off, we just finished the Dragonflight campaign, reached level 70, and that's where we're going to pick up today. I'll play for a couple hours. My goal here is to at least reach level 75. I talked last time about how scaling can really impact your leveling experience. So we got to level 70 pretty quick. If you do it by yourself without explaining everything about the game, you will probably reach level 70 a lot quicker than 14 hours. If you take your time and you're exploring, could go a little bit longer, but it can definitely be done in less time than that. We leveraged the turbulent timeways buffs and time walking to expedite our leveling. We did time walking dungeons. If you're tuning in, this is just basically 1 week later, so we have a new series of time walking dungeons. We had Mist of Pandaria during the last event series, and then in between we had the Burning Crusade. And then now I think we have Warlords of Draenor time walking, so 3 different expansions. But we're not going to focus too much on that this time. Ooh, that's a good cloak. Because we are going to be breaking into the War Within campaign with the start of the new quest, the Harbinger. So this will become available at level 70. It does look like it wants us to start by going to Silithus to meet Thrall. But we also have this Harbinger quest. So we're going to start there. We're going to disregard the lore walking for now. We're going to turn that off. Lore walking is a good alternative that could be used right now to level up your character a little bit, get a couple levels while also experiencing a lot of story. So if you really enjoyed the story while you're leveling up, I might recommend at this point pivoting into lore walking a little bit. I'm assuming regardless of when you watch this, they'll keep sort of updating this to different expansions to keep it relevant, but we'll see. Right now it's just a new feature that was introduced in the War Within to kind of catch folks up into where we're at now with the story. So if you're just joining us, it is the beginning of July. We are doing a video series where we start full new player experience. This is a brand new fresh account. We leveled up through the Dragonflight expansion to gain our 70 levels. And it's dumping us right into the start of the War Within, which is the most current expansion. We're currently in season 2 of the War Within, and I have a goal to get 3K Mythic Plus rating and ahead of the curve before season 3. They actually just announced that season 3 is going to launch in a month. So we'll see if this is achievable at this rate. Either way, it's going to give you a pretty good understanding of the end game systems of World of Warcraft. So let's get started, I think. So I want to, let's go to Silithus. We'll start there. And then we'll go to the Harbinger after that.
Another vision. You saw it too.
They're growing stronger. Thromka.
When you're doing some of these campaign quests, you'll often get this little option at certain breakpoints that will update you on things that happened before.
Plunged his colossal blade into our world. Crucial events were set in motion. Magni Bronzebeard heard the cries of Azeroth, giving up everything to answer her call.
Since being wounded by the Mad Titan, Azeroth has been crying out in pain.
As her dutiful speaker, he rallied the champions to her aid. and ultimately to confront the return of the old god, N'Zoth. It was during this conflict that Xal'atath, a mysterious entity of the Void, made a deal with N'Zoth, freeing her from the cursed blade that bound her essence within.
Honor our bargain. Free me to find my own fate.
After she vanished into the darkness, N'Zoth was confronted by the mortal champions and destroyed, ending the old god's reign of terror. But they were not the only malevolent force with its eyes set on Azeroth. For soon, the sky was sundered, the Shadowlands split open, and our heroes were pulled into the realm of death itself.
Go, champion! Go!
It was there that Anduin Wrynn endured the worst. Captured, tortured, and through dark domination magics, forced to commit terrible acts against his will.
I'm afraid that if I call on the light, it won't answer.
Scarred and shaken by his experience, he vanished, his whereabouts unknown. After the threat of the Shadowlands had been quelled, the dragons of Azeroth returned to their ancestral homeland. It was here that the primal dragon, Iridikron, broke free of his prison, and in pursuit of vengeance upon the Titans who he felt had stolen our world, he secured an ancient, powerful artifact, the Dark Heart.
When the Titans come to reclaim their prize, I will be waiting.
As word of this new threat started to spread, people began experiencing strange visions. The Radiant Song.
It's being heard all across Azeroth. The Council doesn't know what to make of it.
It was then that Illyria Windrunner, a deadly huntress who had harnessed the powers of the Void as a weapon against the darkness, was summoned to investigate.
We still don't know what this Dark Heart relic is capable of, but we do know it's in the hands of someone called the Harbinger.
It was not long before Illyria discovered the Harbinger's true identity. Xal'atath, the mysterious figure, was once again on the move. While neither Xal'atath nor the Dark Heart could be found, her mentor, the enigmatic Locust Walker, issued Illyria a dire warning.
The radiant visions you spoke of are the very same my people had before our world was consumed by the Void Lord Dimensius.
Could Xal'atath be seeking that same fate for Azeroth?
You must find a way to stop her. If you cannot, then Azeroth is already doomed.
And you probably watched that cinematic and you were just like, what the hell? You were like, that wasn't anything like what we talked about in the first 6 videos of this, and nothing really except for the Dragon Isles resonated with me. So we'll just do a quick walkthrough of, what we just saw. So that cinematic started with the events that took place in Legion, where the demon Kil'jaeden basically stabs Azeroth with a giant sword, this giant sword. And that is kind of like what sets off a lot of the events that happen. I don't know too much about, the full lore, but essentially Azeroth as a planet, Azeroth is the home that we play on, the world that we play on. Azeroth as a planet is almost more like a living being. It can communicate to certain people like Magni, who you saw in that cinematic. Certain people can act as Azeroth's speaker. So he stabs Azeroth, and then it kind of sets off, like, we go on a couple different tangents. So in Battle for Azeroth, which takes place right after Legion, we fight N'Zoth. You saw that during the cinematic, and we learn a little bit about the story of Xal'atath. Xal'atath is the main antagonist in the War Within. And then we go kind of on a little bit of a tangent. Stuff's happening in the background, but we go into Shadowlands. You saw that part with Anduin and Sylvanas, and there's a little bit of a different story arc. The Shadowlands are essentially the like afterlife soul mechanism that's part of the Warcraft lore. The main antagonist in that one is called the Jailer. And then we walk through some of the more familiar events, probably that you would recognize. Dragonflight. Some parts that you wouldn't recognize would be Iridikron and the Heart of Darkness. And Iridikron is Razageth's sibling and also a primalist. And he was, Razageth was the one that we saw through the campaign, what we just did. And she was basically working to wake up her siblings. So I mentioned it in the last video, but at the end of the Dragonflight, we fight Farak, the red primalist, the fire primalist. And while we're dealing with his sort of chaos, Iridikron's up to no good, getting the Heart of Darkness for Xal'atath. And now where we're at here, you saw the Azeroth is sort of like reaching out through these remnants and communicating with Thrall, who's in front of us. Thrall is one of the leaders of the Horde, who you would recognize from Warcraft lore, or the Warcraft movie, and then Jaina Proudmoore, who is one of the leaders of the Alliance. Both major characters in Battle for Azeroth as well. So we're going to go through some of the story here. They're starting us out by saying, hey, something's up. We're going to go check on Magni. He's the speaker for Azeroth.
We've been trying to
And he's kind of going through it right now.
Leave me alone.
And I'm going to try and go like not super quick, but we're not going to read all the quest text. I'll try and give you a little bit of synopsis here.
Speaker of Azeroth. She hasn't been speaking to me. After all I gave, she left me like this, unable to feel the warmth of my kin's soul. Let's be clear. I'm doing this for all of you, not for her. Azeroth, speak to me. What are you trying to tell us? I can hear her voice. I can see it. The place she's calling us to.
Where, Magni? Where must we go?
It's called
Magni!
He's alive, but barely.
What would you ask the daughter of the sea? Be careful who you trust. Control your power.
Take the portal of Dalaran. That's where they want to send us for the Harbinger. So we probably could have skipped that if we just started with the Harbinger. But yeah, Magni's going through it. He was the speaker of Azeroth all throughout. Ooh, I don't even know when it started. Legion?
He tried to commune directly with Azeroth. It seems the strain was too much.
And now we're in Dalaran. Dalaran was the capital in a couple different expansions, particularly Legion, Wrath of the Lich King. Here we have Moira, who is Magni's daughter.
You'll likely find Dagran with his nose in a
You can also, when you're doing these quests, oftentimes there's a prompt to stay a while and listen, and you will, you'll get a little bit more lore if you choose to do that. And then the Harbinger quest is actually up here in the corner, so we're gonna just keep going for now, kind of see where it takes us. Moira wants us to go grab her son and Bran.
Tomes, Uncle Bran. They must be from Drenton's library. I hope Granddad's all right. I never got to spend much time with him.
Don't worry, lad. Magni's made of stern stuff. Pardon the pun.
And we go back down.
Well, I'm listening. Father, are you all right?
Aye, lass, but I saw a vision of destruction. Well, out with it, and the name.
Kaz Algar. The Titan installation mentioned in Alderman's records.
You've arrived, and it may now be in danger. We must convene the
Council
council.
Dalran.
Once more, Dalaran is called to the aid of our world. Magni?
Azeroth showed me a vision of a city in flames in the ancient lands of Kaz Algar. Her voice was desperate. We must act quickly.
Archmage Drendon has proposed, and the council agrees, that we bring the full force of Dalaran to this Kaz Algar. Make ready, our people, and prepare the city for teleportation. Whatever lies ahead, we will face it together. I'm glad you're here. Always happy.
Here for teleportation. Got a quest from Bran. Got a quest from Archmage Drendon.
Good to see you, champion. If Kaz Algar is under attack, we must prepare for the worst. You'll need to perform the strengthening.
It's probably a little confusing for a new player just to see the Harbinger quest in there.
Good luck, friend.
Because that's going to be, if we start that now, that's going to take you down sort of a different route. It's just a little bit of a tangent. Clicking on this middle mouse button here, this extra action button. The quest for the Harbinger takes us into a little bit of Illyria's story.
What brings you here?
What do they want here? Oh, says it right there. Eat the food. And it'll talk more about Locust Walker, who you saw in that previous cinematic there. And you'll kind of like go through and take a look at that story and how she's going to be involved here in the War Within. If it requires us to go down that route, we will absolutely do that. While we're plugging along here, I'll talk a little bit more about just current state of the game. So Season 3 was just announced. It will launch on August 5th. So a little less than a month away. Still definitely plenty of time to achieve the 3K goal. Which will actually, if you're playing along, which I don't think anybody is, but if you're playing along and you're walking through sort of your new player experience, completing the goals that I have outlined here would really put you in a great position for the start of Season 3. Some of the things that people look for in the first weeks are going to be things like Mythic Plus ranking, or any previous achievements, although probably less so the previous achievements. So completed those 3 quests. We're going to drop them off.
Hello there. You're always welcome.
But there's a ton of really cool stuff happening in the game right now. This month, the month of July, before the game launches, there's actually like 3 or 4 special events happening. So one of them is called the Collector's Bounty. That ends on July 29th, so the week before the new season launches.
I was hoping to
and the Collector's Bounty is giving increased drop chances for what's called legacy content. So it's going to be any of the raids or dungeons from Shadowlands back to Classic. And so when you go into these raids or dungeons at a higher level with a higher item level, you will you will get extra drops from the boss for gear for transmog, and you will have an increased chance for getting rare mount drops. So this is an awesome time to be a collector. If you've gotten this far in the video, you could probably just buy some level 70 gear off the auction house, or even give some of this a try, because up to Shadowlands, maybe a little bit of Battle for Azeroth, all of these raids and dungeons, you're essentially going to be able to go through at your current gear level and just kill things super, super quick and super, super easy. You might have a little bit of trouble in Battle for Azeroth and Shadowlands. This is scaling. Again, scaling is what allows us, what they always descale legacy content to make it easier. So you can go in and you can take a look at some of the mounts. You can go to Wowhead and it'll show you the collector's bounty. You can take a look at some of the appearances. So I just click Shift P, went into appearances, and if you scroll down, these are going to be the rogue armor appearances that come from legacy content, and it goes all the way up. Here we're getting into Warlords of Draenor, and we're continuing. Now we're getting into Legion. So any of these armor sets, now we're getting into Battle for Azeroth. Things got a little weird in Battle for Azeroth. We're getting into Shadowlands. So all of this stuff has increased drop rates for you to go and acquire on any of the various difficulties. And you can complete easily up to Mythic. And there's different difficulties down in like Molten Core. You'll see there is no difficulty up in the top. Different difficulties were introduced throughout. So Collector's Bounty, it's happening in the month of July. I really hope they bring it back. We'll talk about 2 more events after this cinematic.
It's even more amazing than I'd imagined.
But my visions were of fire and war.
Something's wrong. I need to find Khadgar. Drendon. Where's the rest of the council?
Drendon's been dead for
years. All this time. And you never once sensed my presence. Oh, it's not time for that yet. But if you're so eager for a fight, perhaps this can keep you occupied. Until we meet again, Valeria.
So that's Xalatath. She tricked us into teleporting Dalran above Khazalgar.
So blind.
And now we're under attack by a bunch of spider people. So now we have to remember how to fight. So we're helping our civilians here. I'm going to turn on some music. Audio, music. Oh boy. Killing spree. Citizen saved, Nerubian slain. This guy's taking a long time to kill. You can see up at the top too, we have a full rested XP bar. So that'll be really good at helping us get to the next level. I do feel like we're feeling a little bit of the impact of the scaling. This is just a level 70 drone, drone abductor. And so I feel like we're not one-shotting or killing things quite as quick as we did before. which is a shame. Doesn't look like we're taking a ton of damage. Sorry for the flashbang. But we're not killing quite as quick as we used to, so hopefully... Looks like we got a little help from Elbow Box over here. Hopefully what'll happen is... Ooh, nice. We will get some pretty decent gear pretty quickly. But we'll see. A lot of paladins here. I wonder what that's all about. I did mention at the end of the last video that I would show you how to get some quick transmog. The collector's bounty buff, which is going on through the month of July, like I just mentioned, that is going to be a great way for you to collect some pretty quick transmog. But I'll also show you another way once we kind of establish ourselves in Khazalgar, maybe towards the end of the video. This one's taking forever to kill. That's because he's evading. Okay. Well, we're gonna leave. So I was talking about some of the events that are happening. I mentioned the Collector's Bounty through the month of July. And the other thing that we'll be launching at the weekly reset next week is an XP boost. And I believe it's going to be combined with Turbulent Timeways. We still have the Mastery of the Timeways buff. And it's called the Winds of Mysterious Fortune. It runs from July 15th to August 12th. And it's going to give you increase in experience and renown from July 15th to August 12th. So you get while questing and adventuring in Dragonflight and War Within zones, players below level 80 can gain mysterious satchels containing various unique and valuable items, including temporary stat boosts, visual alterations, chance for bonus gear appropriate for your level, and 10% experience potions that stack with an existing 20% experience buff for a maximum of 30%. So if you are looking to level a character, the end of season 2 is the time to do it. So you would get the 30% increase from Mastery of the Timeways, and then you would get an additional 30% from the Winds of Mysterious Fortune. Now there is a chance that Timeways will end. That way, if that's the case, you'll still be getting that flat 30% experience buff. So I mentioned earlier, leveling as quick as I did. That'll still be happening. You'll still be able to level pretty quickly if you log in during the tail end of Season 2. And if you do log into the tail end of Season 2 and you want to sort of get started and geared up for Season 3, just getting as far along as you can in terms of exploring some Mythic Plus dungeons and learning your class and doing a little bit of raiding, I think will go a long way. So we will at the very least cover all of that in this video series, even if we don't hit our goals of reaching 3K by the end of the season. But we'll see. We're still getting some pretty decent experience, even if this quest is super, super slow compared to the other one, or compared to the ones before it. 90%. We're in the barber shop right now in Dalaran. I've never really mentioned the barber shop because we went through character customization, but if you didn't like the way that you customize your character, you can. That is a player. You can visit a barbershop in any major city. They'll be on the map. You can search for them with the guards. I don't think I can because I'm doing this quest, but and you can change your appearance. So you can do anything you want. You can change body types, genders. You can switch over your haircut, hair color. Every feature that was available in character creation can be changed there.
There could still be more survivors. With me, champion.
So a bunch of mages just teleported out.
Damn it all! Cut through the sewers.
Through the sewers. Sewers are over here. I mentioned back in Legion, the sewers were.
Glad to see you haven't evacuated yet.
Oh, what's up, Anduin?
What kind of Nerubians are capturing the rogues?
The sewers were where the rogue class order hall was. It's very cool. All right. Now, at this point, at level 70, we're not going to get talent points anymore. Well, we're not going to get our traditional talent points. At level 71, we're going to unlock hero talents. So we'll talk about those once we hit level 71. Hero talents are like the new way that they are looking to sort of like add power in coming expansions. It's unclear, in my opinion, whether or not they will they'll install or create new hero talents with every expansion that they do moving forward. But for right now, these hero talent trees in the middle are kind of what we get, and we'll unlock talent points to spend in those as we level up to 80.
A friend once showed me a path through here. Head to that sewer grate. The exit should be on the right.
These paladins are certainly interesting. I just feel like they're bots.
I will help if I can. I'll get them to safety. Try to find Khadgar.
Oh. Going this way.
In the sky and nowhere to flee. Gather all you can find. Bring them below. Xalatath has plans for them.
Oh boy. So that was Queen Ansarek. Queen Ansarek is the main antagonist in Season 1 of The War Within. So throughout the campaign, you'll see her mentioned. And she's helping Xalatath with her plot. Here I am.
To see you. There remains much to be. Take this portal down to Kaz Algar. Those who escape will still need help.
So you can see here a pretty decent upgrade here just from this first quest.
Khadgar, we meet at last.
Zalatath, I presume.
This city is home to such power. All squandered by the Kirin Tor. I'll put it to much better use.
Like hell you will.
There you are.
Illyria!
Get out of my head! Khadgar!
This isn't the real fight.
Goodbye, Guardian.
Whoa. All right, we're loading up in the wreckage.
I found them. I'll get these rocks off you.
Wreckage of Dalran. You can see the Nerubians, the spider folks, are still attacking. They're pretty vicious. There's Jaina and Thrall.
Champion, to me.
And you just gotta do what you can.
We have to push forward or we'll be
It's kind of the start, the real start. We're in the new zone.
Rescue who you can along the way.
I forgot to put on my helmet. I need to put on my helmet. Here's some more of that scaling I mentioned. You can see these saboteurs are kind of kicking my butt. I use the evasion skill to take less damage. Drink a little Crimson Vial. Equip the helmet. More of the same, helping civilians. And slaying Nerubians. I think I mentioned it in the last video, but I'll mention it again here. If you're looking at Outlaw Rogue and you're watching me press the killing spree button and you're saying, Yogurt, this game is not for me, that thing is bouncing all over the place, please believe me when I say that not every class has an ability like this. It's very unique to
Much better. Now,
to the Rogue, and they're changing it in Season 3. So if you like everything else except for that bouncing around, that will also be changing into what is going to look like a really, really, really cool ability. Picked up another quest while we were there. Need to cover damaged arcane relics. And this goes back to my general questing rule of thumb, which is to do these quests that don't require you to kill people first. Because I've already killed the 12 that I need, and I still have 3 civilians to rescue and 4 more relics to retrieve. Now, thankfully, we're a rogue, so we can just stealth. And whenever you're doing quests on like a battlefield like this, you don't really have to worry about, well, normally you don't have to worry about things aggroing you, but this guy just did, so.
Always stings. Get moving. I'll take care of the wounded here.
Civilians healed. I do see up in my mini map in the top right a little rare, so we're gonna kill that. I think it's a spire fella here, malfunctioning spire. You'll notice that we lost our ability to dragon ride. That'll be coming back soon. We just normally, when they start you in like this guy's kind of kicking my butt. Normally when they start you in a new zone, they'll have you get through a couple of quests first. We might die. Oop, we died. That's a shame. That's a shame because it doesn't give us a way to fly back there. So I guess we're just gonna run. That's definitely not how it should go. Again, a reminder, I think this is the second time we've died. Very minor penalties for dying in World of Warcraft. You gotta run back to your corpse. That's pretty much it. Unless you're in a Mythic Plus key, then there's additional time added to your timer, your end of dungeon timer. Now, this is your second character, not your first character. You don't really have to worry about the campaign too much. I believe that you do have to complete the campaign on your first character in order to unlock all of the features that are available, at least the original main story campaign. So just like what we did in Dragonflight, we're going to be doing basically the same thing here. We're going to start up in this top level area. And then we're going to go through each of the 4 zones. So I will kill this rare mob. I'm really kind of hoping for like a piece of loot. That we can equip, not just a piece of loot for some male character, plate wearer, or something like that. Stun him there. You can see his health is going right down. So we'll just finish him off. decent chunk of experience. Absolutely no gear whatsoever, which is a bit of a bummer. So if you're walking through this, you do not need to kill that rear mob.
Help! I can't move. Oh, Dagran, are you all right?
Excellent. Yes. Thanks to Granda teaching me stone form. Wait. Where is he? We've got to find him.
Dagran, wait!
I will not lose my friends again. We will brave this darkness together.
Jaina, Thrall, we need help.
Anduin wants us to kill this big guy. See, this guy's attacking me. I really don't want to fight him right now, so I just hit vanish. Here's Magni. He's fighting this big guy. So we regrouped. He wants us to hold him off. I don't know if we actually have to do a bunch of damage to him or if we're just waiting for a timer to tick down, but we'll fight him. Actually, I'm pretty sure that this guy is a boss in one of the later dungeons. Ooh. Trying to avoid this little plague swarm down here. That's why you see me moving around. And we also don't want to hit the frontal there either. Okay.
We can't hold them.
Storm Riders. To ground, my soldiers!
Trespassers! My directive is to protect the Isle of Dorne. Leave at once.
Trespassers? You saw us fall from the sky and fight for our lives. We need aid.
What you need matters not. Your presence is not authorized by the Titans.
The Titans?
Now don't you be talking to my daughter like that, you great stone.
An earthen, hardened like a diamond. A Thragar.
You've seen others akin to me?
I have only heard stories of their heroics. It is a sign from the Titans.
Laddie, it weren't Titan magic that...
What he means to say is, yes, of course, and we'd be honored to...
Dornegal! What disaster have you brought to our city, Outlanders? New directive. We must return to the city. All of us.
Kind of sounds like a transformer.
Conversation.
So here we regain skywriting. This unlocks skywriting in Khazalgar, and for a new player who just bought, you know, the War Within and has has a boost, and they use the boost. This is what the tutorial to teach you how to skyride.
Now, take flight.
I'm pretty sure that you can actually just mount your regular skywriting mount. I don't think it does say optional under Train Stormbrook mounted. So if you did this, it would just have you do the skywriting that you learned in Dragonflight to fly through. This top level here is the Isle of Dorn. You'll see here, you know, on your map, we've got 3 campaign chapters. It's going to take us into Dornegal. If we're approaching now, Dornegal is the major city in the War Within. So this is a wonderful place to set your Hearthstone once we start to explore the city. And this is where you're actually, after we get through this sort of intro, you can see down here all these Nerubians are fighting. Once you get through, this is where you're actually going to start seeing most of the players. So it wants us to mount Stormrook and slay the Nerubians. So we're just flying around. I'm not doing anything directional. This is just a little roller coaster. We're just flinging lightning hammers down on the big bad spiders. Bigger ones are worth more points, but they do take more to hurt. You always want to try and do it in one lap, otherwise it'll have you go through another lap. But it's going to drop us down on the ground. Talk with Belgrim. You can see our rested XP since we took a week off is pretty big. It's going to get us all the way through to the next level.
We brought the Nerubians here.
Just taking a quick look for any gear.
On the core way. The attack was another part of Zalatath's scheme. So much chaos and destruction.
We have to regroup. Has anyone seen Khadgar?
No.
We will grieve him in time. But Thrall is right. Without reinforcements, we're at Zalatath's mercy. But no matter what she's planning, we must stop her.
Jaina and I will rally the Alliance and the Horde. But it will take some time for us to sail back here.
Right. In the meantime, we'll stay here and keep the survivors safe.
You will. Not me.
Illyria, we need your...
No, you don't. I can't keep anyone safe. But I can hunt down Zalatath. And make her pay.
We will be back, and we will be ready.
I have work to do. May the edicts...
So we just unlocked our first renown here in
While you clear the rubble. Edicts.
in the War Within. It's going to be the Earthen Dwarves in the Isle of Dorn. We're going to keep working towards clean things up here, save some workers, move some debris. And I've got a couple more mini map buttons in the way. Looks like it actually loaded all my add-ons for some reason, but Council of Dornegal, here's that renown track similar to the one that we looked at in Dragonflight. We'll go through those rewards at some point. A lot of them are cosmetic. Looks like we missed one thing back down here. You can see our dragon flying or our sky riding is restored. Oh, that's so sad. So we can mount up again. We're still not fully to the phase.
Over us. Survivors from the beach?
If they are truly allies, perhaps all is not lost. It was Odin. I knew him.
Let's talk just a little bit about the backstory of the Earthen.
His memory gem into the archive.
They have these little memory gems.
What is your command?
Ask guard about profession trainers. This is introducing you to the city.
This seems like a place you'd be keen to explore. I'll be back for you when I know it's safe.
And looks like we're close to being fully phased in here. I see the visions. Okay. So it's going to give us a little tour of the city. So we've got
The entire isle
Light
is under
Master,
attack. Praise the
which we don't really
Titans,
need,
you are safe. Were it not for the
especially
storm,
here, and I'll show you why, but it does show you a whole map. So these are the 4 zones that we're going to explore throughout the campaign. The only quests that we're going to be accepting are going to be the campaign quests. Here's the innkeeper, so I'd recommend binding your hearthstone here, facing the direction that you want to go when you use your hearthstone. So I want to face out the door. And you can see here, it's a well-populated game with lots of people and things happening. And it doesn't take that long to get to the part where all the people are at. So Brand's over here. He's going to be running this little delve shop. We'll talk about that. Dagran's already here talking about Titan consoles. That's crazy. I wonder if we can get our belt at level 70. We're going to accept that quest just in case. During season 2, it'll probably even be impactful, especially at the start of season 3. They introduced a piece of gear. It's like the disc belt. So it's a belt that trading post. Okay. It is a belt that you can socket a gem into with an extra ability, and it will it'll be really good. It'll last for 2 seasons. This is the trading post. So this is a separate area or a separate feature. It is unrelated to the War Within, but it was introduced around the launch of the War Within. And the trading post is essentially sort of like a currency acquisition system that is on a monthly basis, and the quest will teach you all about it. But essentially there's this like rotating shop of like these cool transmogs and mounts. You can see mounts, swords, weapons, glaives, back pieces, bunch of different weapons, quivers, a sweatsuit. And so they cost Trader's Tender, which is this little currency here. I don't have enough for any of this stuff right now. But if you click Shift J, and I guess you have to unlock it first. Ooh, they give me 1,800. Ooh, that's sick. We'll take advantage of that. They'll give you a little bit of a tour of the trading post, ask you to talk to the different people, view the different things, see what's for sale. See what's for sale. And when you're complete with it, you will be able to purchase things from the trading post. So we'll min-max how we want to spend that. The other thing that'll happen when you unlock the log, so I'd like to see what you have for sale. Shows you what you can buy. Well, that one's cool. Once you complete this quest, you'll unlock more Trader's Tender, and now when you hit Shift J, you can click on the Traveler's Log, and this is going to show you a little bit of a bar, and you're going to fill this up just by doing activities. So complete quests, defeat dungeon bosses, doing some of the world events that are happening that I mentioned, earning reputation, crafting thing. Basically everything you do in the game is going to give you progress. And every month this will rotate. When you get 1,400 points, you'll get 500 Trader's Tender total, I believe. And then you will also unlock whatever the monthly reward is. This is a great month. This is July. And I mean, I don't really like the transmog a ton, but it'll give you a back piece when you hit this breakpoint. It'll give you a full armor transmog. I think it's a little ugly, but could be cool without the helmet. Would be great for like a shadow priest or something. And then it's going to give you this mount So this is just for playing the game. You'll get all of this for free when you come back here and click on the collector's cache. For right now, just for starting us off, they actually give you 2,300. So I might buy something. I kind of liked the... I kind of like the sweatsuit. It's only 100. The purple cloaks could be cool. Unless they match the sweatsuit. And the thing about Trader's Tender, I'm going to get this one too because I think it's pretty sweet. And I'm an undead pirate rogue, so a nautical suit I think sounds really cool. You can return this for a refund. The thing about Trader's Tender is that it's only good for stuff from the trading posts, and you can roll it over into the next month. You can also, if there's something that you really like, you can save it for later. So for example, if I really liked these swords and I wanted to save them for later, you can drag them down and freeze them, and you can switch out your frozen item. So this shop does rotate every month. You can save your points, but this stuff will change. And then down at the bottom, you can see stuff will come back. So like this ensemble was available a long time ago, or at least a year ago, and it's come back this month and you can buy it again. So you'll never have enough Trader's Tender to get every single thing that you want, which is how they kind of keep it going. But you'll usually end up having enough to get the cool things that you think are really sweet. So I did get an outfit. I think that's kind of cheating, so I'll still show you another way to get, actually 2 ways to get a couple outfits there. It does look like the Harbinger quest we don't need anymore, so I'm going to abandon that. You could do that if you wanted to, get a little bit more story. And then they want me to speak to the auditor, so he's up here in like this main building, and that's going to be the last quest here. And this is the Renowned Quartermaster. So this is where you can get the rewards that you'll unlock through completing the Renowned. So you can see here, there's more that's in the Renowned track that you just get automatically, but some examples of things that you'll find from the Quartermasters include transmog gear, like these capes, patterns for professions, pieces of Season 1 gear, profession knowledge, which we'll talk about later, pets, and then mounts as well. So Renowns are a really good way to get different items for your collection. If you're a collector, you'll naturally get Renown as you go through the campaign and through playing the game and doing dailies.
4 wards: the Council Ward, the Storm Ward, the Stone Ward, and the High Speaker, to keep the edicts and build the Coreway and its fortress, Dornagal. But the Titans left, and the machines stopped.
This guy's teaching us a little bit about the Earthen. I'm going to skip the conversation for now, just to keep going here. But basically, there's 4 parts to the council.
I'm willing to be a liaison, if you be willing to speak with her.
If Merrick's wasn't Council Ward, I would have
This brings us up to the top of the building, and then we're just going to fly down all the way over to our quest. So Edelgard found. This is the quest that we're tracking. It's pointing us in the right way.
I have no hope for our success.
I should actually do one. We should talk a little bit about professions before I go and do this. We'll do that next time we go back in. So they send you right out of the city and they work through your campaign quests. So I'm going to skip through, you know, this story out in the world. I'll keep the cutscenes going.
Prioritize the wounded. We cannot fight if unidentified. Another survivor from the crash?
I'm Moira, of the Dark Iron and Bronzebeard.
Baelgrim.
Stone Ward?
I am not the Stone Ward. You know that.
I know you abandoned your post.
And you abandoned us.
The Coreway was attacked. It must be repaired.
We were attacked too. You should have protected.
I can see there is some history between you. But if you haven't noticed, the Nerubians have you both in their sights. You need each other, age-old drama or not.
You can see here the not side quests, but like the campaign that goes through the.
This is a waste of cycles. I will go to the quarry myself.
The rest of the narrative is not quite as like high level, so some of the cutscenes and quests, we're just going to kind of plow through these and move on to whatever's next. This is going to introduce us to delves. So the next quest is going to take us over to the Earthcrawl Mines delve. This was what I mentioned with Brand Bronzebeard back at his headquarters in Dornegal. Delves are new content that came with the War Within. They're aimed at solo players to give them an alternative way to gear their character up a little bit slower than if you were doing dungeons or raids, but achievable completely on your own. So when you go into a delve, they'll look like this out in the open world. They'll have these little doors you can see here. We have a delve down here called Earthcrawl Mines, one up here called Kriegval's Rest, these little door icons. And Bran will be your companion. You can set a role for him that will be damage, healer, or tank. Because I'm a little weak, I'm going to choose healer. We're going to go in and do a tier 1 delve though. That's going to be pretty easy. So you can unlock up to tier 11 delves. In order to unlock the delve, you have to complete the tier below it. So tier 1 is where we start, and we'll go all the way up eventually to tier 8, which is where the maximum rewards can come from. You can see here the rewards. There's experience for Bran. Bran will level up alongside us, player experience, and then heavy trunk that can contain consumables, gear, stuff like that.
Glad to see Adelgon finally sent
Each one has its own little story, and they rotate too. So you just kind of have to go through, follow along with what it says over on the right side. As for your next steps, click on what's glowing. Cart guided forward. Don't step in the webs. So we're just going to shoot them to reduce them. And healer Bran, he'll pop out these little potions when you get into combat. So those can be really useful, especially if you're a character like me, like a rogue. The Fearmonger does this fearful shriek. I just hit it with blind, and then I stunned it with kidney shot. We don't want to get hit by that because it will make us run away in fear. The Nerubian webs will continue to grow, so we want to keep shooting them. And our goal here is miners rescued and use the webbed hook shock on any of the grapple points. So that's just what we're going to do. I forgot we already hit level 71, so that actually means that I believe we unlocked our hero talents. If you're not sure what to do, that was me using the webbed hook here, rescuing the last miner. If you're not sure where to allocate your points, you can go to the Wowhead article like we were talking about and see how to level up. I'm pretty positive that for Outlaw Rogue, so when you unlock your hero talents, you actually get... Oop, we're being attacked. you actually get a choice between 2 different hero talents, or hero talent trees per specialization. So for Rogue, there's 3. 2 of them are shared between Outlaw, Assassination, and Subtlety. So each one has 2 to choose from. And for each class, with the exception of Demon Hunter and the exception of Druid, there are 2 for Demon Hunter because Demon Hunter only has 2 specializations, and there's 4 for Druid because Druid has 4 specializations. And just like your regular talent points, hero talent points are fully refundable. You can swap in between each one of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, I think it's Trickster. Now I'm going to pull up the WoWHUD article. But you can pick whichever one you want. Each one is going to give you a little bit of flavor that adds another level of depth or complexity to your class. So Fatebound for Outlaw Rogue has a coin flip mechanic. You get a buff. You flip a coin every so often, you get a buff. The more times you flip in the same direction, the bigger the buff or the longer that it lasts. And then for Trickster, 30 tricks and flashing blades are on display. When Trickster enters a fight, distract opponents with misdirection or sword flourish. So they get an ability called Coup de Grace, an unseen blade. I'm pretty sure that this is the one for Mythic Plus, and Fatebound is the one for Raid. So single target, a little bit more, and then Mythic Plus. So we're doing kind of a mix of single target and multi-target. So we're going to activate Trickster, and we'll go down the row here. But my recommendation is just to read these so that you know how they interact with your abilities. You can build out any additional weak auras if you need to adapt to that. But Trickster, for me, Unseen Blade, Sinister Strike and Ambush, now also strike with an Unseen Blade, dealing 27,000 damage. Targets struck are phased for 10 seconds. Phased enemies take 5% more damage from you and cannot parry attacks. So every time I Sinister Strike and Ambush, the target is phased and I deal more damage to them. Cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. And then you start to work your way down. So level 71, you get a talent point, 72, 73, 74, 75, all the way up to 80. You'll unlock the last one. You can go straight down, or you can unlock in a different way. I would recommend just taking a look and trying probably to work your way straight down to the last one. And that'll give you kind of the biggest benefit. So we're just going to take a look at what is the most benefit to us now. Surprising strikes, attacks that generate combo point, deal 50% increased critical strike damage to phased targets. So our builders, buffs our builders, take 5% reduced damage. Faint reduces damage taken from an area of effect attacks by an additional 10%. So like this is a good example. This would be good for PvP and for solo content. This is what you would switch over to for Mythic Plus or Raid content, because you don't need to, well, I guess it depends, right? If it's an AoE attack and you get more benefit out of that additional faint damage reduction. And then Flawless Form, Unseen Blade, and Killing Spree increase the damage of your finishing moves by 3% for 12 seconds. So we are going to take just a quick look. Killing Spree applies phased. Increase critical strike. So this is a pretty good, all of these are a mix of like damage and survivability. That one seems pretty good. That one seems like a PvP talent. This buffs Blade Flurry, which is multi-target. Killing Spree cooldown reduced. So it doesn't really matter. We're just going to grab this one, click apply changes to just get the benefits. So now what we should see when we attack, we'll keep going at this delve. with Sinister Strike. Is more damage. And we like more damage. Feel like we're already doing some more damage. Now, on a level 1 delve, I definitely could have gotten away with keeping Bran as a damage dealer. He is going to attack and do damage on his own, so it's not entirely necessary, but you can see here, I'm not really in much danger from the mobs in this tier 1 delve. As I get higher up with less gear, it'll probably be good to have him as a healer, especially as a rogue, but when you're just starting out, you can really do whatever you please. I'm just trying to kind of skip around and just do the quest objective. So we're looking to rescue miners. The other thing I'm keeping an eye out for in these delves are these little urns or bags or anything that glows like this. This is going to be your primary source of additional companion experience for Bran. We want to level Bran up, not as quickly as we can, but we want to level Bran up because he's going to help kind of not carry us in these dungeons or in these delves, but he's going to have a noticeable impact, especially when our gear is pretty low. So collect the urns as you see them. The other thing you're going to want to take a look at, especially if you're an achievement hunter, is these sturdy chests. Every delve has a series of sturdy chests. When you open them all up, you will get an achievement. And you only have to open them the first time you're in each delve. Once they're open forever. You can see those big pieces of Bran XP, so chunk of Bran experience, gains 125, 8, and 11. And that's just going to help him level up, like I mentioned. You also get these little consumables here too. Looks like they require level 80, so we don't need anything there. And then what we've looted from some of these and from the chest are these crafting reagents, like the Viridian Charm Cap, the Vial of Kaheti Oils. And these, as a new player, are going to be great for us because these actually, they're like the first item that you'll see that sells for something decent on the auction house. So we'll go and we'll talk about the auction house and professions when we get back to
what path
Thornagal. You can see from up here, looks like I missed an urn down there. They hide them in some of the little mine carts and stuff like that. So always keep your eyes out. This is a rare mob in a delve. He will give us a power if we defeat him, but it'll probably take too long for us to kill it, so we're not gonna. Bran likes to kind of coach you with what he thinks you should be doing, so when things do like frontals or there's an AoE ability, he'll say don't stand there. Give you constant reminders, kind of like a weak aura.
All right, new directives. You take out the Nerubians ahead, and we'll follow behind.
Also, hopefully remind you when your health is getting low. And the only thing that kind of stinks about being a rogue in delves, and I'm sure it'll be advantageous in a different delve, is is the fact that we have to shoot these little eggs to keep the webs at bay. So
Treasure room is up ahead. We'll wait
ooh, we got
for
an
you to
achievement.
clear the area first.
Looted 1,000 gold. Holy. We actually have 4,700, which is not bad.
Fantastic.
Use instruction. Step 1, latch missile to back, ignite missile go up. Only usable in Undermine. Undermine is the new zone that came with the most recent patch for Season 2. Yeah, this delve is relatively short. It's like the tutorial delve. When you come back here, so I mentioned like the stories rotate. This delve is basically like the tutorial delve. And so when you come back as like a main regular delve, you'll actually see a different story, different experience. Might take a little bit longer, but the map will be the same. So the map will be familiar, but the objectives that you do will probably be a little bit longer. Mobs might be a little bit tougher. Our last goal here is to kill the final boss. Every delve has a boss at the end, sometimes at the beginning. I believe there are experience things in the carts around here. Potentially a sturdy chest, but I'm not seeing any. There's one, sturdy chest. When you're starting out, you want to loot everything. Everything will be a net gain for us, maybe except for that. So we're going to stealth up to the boss. We're going to engage him. With the killing spree, keeping an eye on his casts. Curse of Agony sounds bad. We're going to kick that. And then he's going to start summoning these flaming mine carts. We want to make sure we don't get hit. We did it. So we completed the first story. Bran is going to unlock the treasure room, which is going to be where we'll find all of our gear. And there can sometimes be some of those little pouches, or not the chest, but the pouches in this room. So just take a quick look around. You also see some piles of gold. It's not much. 3 gold, 2 gold. But everything helps. And then in the chest, we get an Ancient Curio, which begins a quest. We get an Archaic Cipher Key, which begins a quest. That's going to pop up right here. It's going to give us, as a reward, Delver's Journey, Undercoin, Resonance Crystals, the Hellcaller chest. We'll talk about the Hellcaller chest right now. That won't always be there. We'll talk about all of that, what all that means. And then the other quest had a cloak, which is an upgrade for us, which is great. It had a fractured spark of fortunes, which we'll talk about when we talk about professions. I think that's all that it had for us. A little gray item that was worth 10 gold. And at the end of every delve is a quick way to get out. So you can just click on this helicopter, just making sure I got everything. Ah, right. The pocket factory. So Bran, as your companion, will have different abilities that you can slot in and socket in, and they'll change per season. They're called curios. We just got our first one, first season 2 curio. And we're just going to enable that. There's one combat curio and one utility curio. So you'll unlock more of these, and they'll rank up. They start as white, and then they'll go to green and blue and purple, and get stronger. You can see here Bran's level. His level goes all the way up to 60, I believe. So we're going to leave the delve now. This is just going to take you back to the start of the delve. Then you just walk through the door and say, I'm ready to leave. Bye.
Inquiring minds just got to know.
You got some more Bran experience. What will you do now? Talk about delves.
Can't resist a good cave. Keeper's beard.
Nice. We got a weapon. Weapon is exactly what we needed. That's going to be big item level for us.
Protect the Isle, not just the city, and not.
They're going to send us on some quests. We're just taking the 2 that relate to the story. One of the other things that we'll probably do here is we're going to test out the Titan consoles to see if we can unlock the belt early. I don't think we can, but I'm curious as to why it's available for us. Honestly, not as big of a damage increase as I was kind of hoping for, but it's okay. Killing Fungarians. Looting ore. Drink our potion so we don't die. See another rare. Crystal tin cap. We'll probably go and fight him. Ooh, I should have done this with some more health, probably. It's okay. We drank our potion early. I'm going to pop evasion. I'm going to try not to stand in anything. Pick any spells that we can. Ooh, that hurt. Oop, that's bad. We're going to vanish. As you can see there, we didn't have much health at all. You can drink the Crimson Vial while you're stealthed. Probably kill him if he's by himself, but we can't really get him by himself. Probably kill him here. Nope, I don't think we can kill him here. Well, we got evasion back. We popped evasion. Got to get a couple good finishers in there. There he goes. It's letting that lethargic poison go off. So we got some renown and we got some cuffs, which is great. This is actually, that was very much worth doing. So we got about 80 item levels on our wrists. You can see big stat changes there, 240 armor, 178 agility. Again, that's that scaling coming into play. I'm going to go back over to these ore. Kill this guy and do his ore too. Nope. We're going to summon our dragon, fly back to the quest turn-in now that we're done. And each little zone here, you can see these little exclamation points. Like, they all have side quests. You're more than welcome to do those. They will give you renown. So they're definitely worth doing if you're taking the collector angle on this game. It's going to just increase your renown a little bit. A little bit faster. It'll definitely be beneficial to do that in when the reputation and the renown bonuses are active. So you could, if you're leveling a character now at the end of season 2, you could save it for mid-July to early August, and those side quests will just grant you bonus renown. We'll talk about a little bit more about renown rewards as well. So for the most part, the renown rewards, like I said, they're cosmetic. So you can see here, you start at 1, you get cloaks at 2, you can assist with performances at the proscenium. We'll talk about that a little bit later. You can receive a pouch of resonance crystals. You can get an earth encrusted gem for transmog appearance. And then you'll start to get things like weathered undermine crests, valor stones, carved undermine crests. And at the very end, renown 24, you'll get a heroic reward. It takes a while to get here, but this is going to give you an item that will allow you, when creating a crafted item, to create it at the heroic difficulty level. So not the best for your first playthrough for your first character, because it takes a good while to get to that high renown level. However, on your second playthrough, your third playthrough, depending on when you get that, it can give you a little bit of a boost with your additional characters. Get them a quick piece of heroic crafted gear. We'll talk about another way to get those later. Talk to Moira.
Take one of the rams, Baelgrim. It's no storm.
We got an axe, which is great. Now we actually have 434 weapons in both slots, so that'll be good.
But how difficult can it...
Whoa there! I'll bring the Unbound to the Coreway. We'll meet you in Dornagal.
Okay. So on the way over, I'm going to pull over and do another delve, because with season 2, they released what are called overcharge delves. And like I mentioned, they get you at endgame, they get you a belt. And you can do overcharge delves at any difficulty level, doesn't matter. You'll still get the reward, and it'll have a little bit of a different experience inside. I'm going to do this on tier 2, because I do want to level this up, and the first 4 tiers, even the first 8 tiers, are relatively easy. So I'm going to level it up to tier 2. I'm going to click enter. When we walk inside of Fungal Folly, we're going to get a quest for the delve. That's going to give us a pretty decent chunk of experience. I mean, this is with our still Mastery of Time Ways buff. there's going to be an NPC that kind of guides you through what to expect. And then this is the Titan console. The Titan console, nice, will allow you to access a talent tree to upgrade your delve abilities and experiences. So we want to collect Titan discs in here. Don't need that. Oh, man, we don't really need either of those right now. Talent tree, change the delve a little bit. So we're just going to dive in. She's going to have us run just straight off this cliff and into this water. This delve is called Fungal Folly. Actually run it like 4 times today on a different characters. So, and you'll see it's a little bit, you know, you might not notice it because it's the second delve that we've done, but these electric puddles on the ground, these are actually they're part of the overcharged part of the delve. So they're not normally in, they're not normally in all the delves. We're going to go over, we're going to rescue this slightly moldy scout. And these will actually root you if you stand in them. So we're going to try not to stand in them. And we're just going to try and push our abilities in the right order. Now at max level, at level 80, you want to be doing this for the belts. But I want to see if we can get the belt early, because that would be a crazy power spike for leveling. Which is why I don't think they would do it. But in this story, in this version of Fungal Folly, we want to rescue scouts. So we're looking for scouts. We're looting things along the way. We're looking for little things that glow, like this glow cap that I just fell down trying to get. So I'm going to try and bounce back up. In Fungal Folly, you can actually bounce on these little mushrooms. They'll jump you up to the next little level. You also see these floating spores. And, oops, I did it again. The floating spores will grow as you stand near them. And when they reach a certain threshold, they'll explode. And they can impact both your player character and the NPCs, so you can use them to your advantage. I'm not actually sure how you get to this one. I would have thought there would be a way to jump up to it from the ground level, but it doesn't look like it, and we're wasting time, so we're just going to move along. So you can see there, it just launched this little guy really far away. It does some damage to him. You don't need to kill everything in here. Just trying to focus on the quest objectives, looking again for things that glow. We want to kill the robotic mobs that look like they're overcharged, because those are going to help us complete the quests. And we're dying here, so we're panicking and pushing all of our buttons. This guy, I'm now realizing, is a bit of an elite. Looked like an AoE kind of ability that was charging up, so I hit my feint to try and take less damage. And probably also stun this guy a little bit. Doesn't look like it. Not while he's enraged. That gave us more. We're up to 19 shards. See another glowing item over here. These are the checkpoints in delves. I don't think I talked about it last time, but as soon as you come up to these, you'll get +1 life. And the way that delves are structured is that they will, you'll have so many lives. So unlike dungeons, which we'll talk about later, in delves, you basically just go until you die or you complete the delve, until you die 4 times. So more, we're up to 22. We're gonna hop up here and see what we see. It's like a sturdy chest. There's a glow cap here. Slayed Curiosity. So these have disc shards as well, which makes me want to go back to this one even more, but we'll see what we get when we go down here. Here's another construct. Anytime you see a mob or an enemy that that puts like a little dome around, that usually means that it's some type of shielding. So it can be good to either move the mob out of it, or if it's like casting an ability, you can try and pick it or stun it. So we want to get these Titan discharged so we complete the quest. So we're looking for any and all of the mislaid curiosities. So we'll go down underwater and get that one in just a few. Ooh, there's 2 of them. It's even better. You can use your grappling hook underwater. You just need to make sure you're have the right path available. So we're at 30 out of 50. We're doing pretty good. Just taking a quick peek around here before I leave, making sure I don't miss any. Looks like we're okay. There's a sturdy chest. A way to jump up. Before I hit that, I'm just gonna try and access it by just jumping on this corner. Looks like I was able to make it. Got us a treasure seeker's vest, which is a piece of 590 leather gear that we can wear at level 80. So that's cool. And we'll just see where this one takes us. Took us back to the start. So this is that one that we just couldn't quite get last time. But we also saw this one while we were over there. So we're going to grab that.
Nice fight.
Experience for Bran. Looks like it brings us over here. There's another sturdy chest down there. So we're going to get it just because we're a bit of a completionist. Ancient Construct. Use this toy. Adds it to your toy box. Summon Icarus the Unbreakable at target location for 1 minute. Acts as a target dummy. Can be damaged. That's cool. So we'll just click that. It'll disappear from our inventory. We now have 2 toys. Alright, back to the main part of the delve. We're going to go back up. We got some scouts to rescue. bitten off more than we can chew. We'll go grab some of Bran's potions that he threw on the ground for us. Thank you, Bran. You can see the difficulty increased a little bit from a 2. It's also an overcharged. So the overcharge, I do believe, adds a little bit. It looks like this is actually not necessarily a gauntlet, but kind of an event where we have to kill more than just one in order to help save these folks. We were able to hit him with the spore, which is great. So we just saved 3 more scouts. Keep an eye out for those little glowing pieces. Some of the items in the delve might not necessarily be just about loot. So you can see this one's purple, whereas that one's yellow. Bran just went and shot everybody, so we're gonna have to take care of this first. Now this one could get a little spicy, so we're gonna hit some defensives. I broke my cardinal rule of killing spree. I'm supposed to always target a high level mob, high health mob, and I didn't, so it broke early. So the purple ones, sometimes they can be booby traps, sometimes they can just be helpful. So this increases haste by 5% for 1 minute, and also turns me into a little guy. Haste is good. Haste allows us to recoup more energy, allows us to attack faster, which can proc a chance to recoup more energy. We're at 8 scouts completed, rescued. You can see those spores do a pretty good amount of damage. Definitely something I should probably be taking more advantage of when I'm fighting this stuff. Let the spore do the damage. But it'll also do a decent amount of damage to you, so you want to make sure that you're not in it when it explodes. That's a purple chest, so you can see it gave us a little bit of a buff. And then we're at 43 out of 50 Titan discharges. We're coming up kind of on the end here, so I'm really hoping we get what we need. Looks like we have another scout. This is our last scout. We have a pylon. I think you might get some bonus ones at the end, so I'm going to stealth before I go up to the next platform, because there wasn't this matrix. I wasn't really going to fight anything. But I will fight the matrix. Ooh, that was close. Get a couple more shards. Pop up to the last platform. Here's our boss. I'm going to kill this pylon first, just because I don't want it attacking me while I'm fighting this boss. I should probably do the same to the other pylon, but yeah, we're gonna kill that pylon. Ooh, this guy just destroyed us. Oh my god. Okay, so we just respawned at the location. Oh, that stunk. Okay, how are we gonna do this one? This one might be a little bit tougher. So definitely kill the pylon before we go in. The reason that the difficulty increased so much is because it is an overcharge delve. We were just doing a regular tier 2 delve. Wouldn't really be that impactful. So we definitely want to take advantage of the spores. And both of our pylons are killed. It's got a good chunk of health, 4.9 million health. We're doing about 60,000 damage per second. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to open with Roll the Bones, Ambush, killing spree. And I got hit, which isn't great, but so did he, so that's good. And we're gonna run away. Ooh, God, that hurts. Okay, we need Brand's help here. When he's done spinning, he will be disoriented. So we want to keep those health potions nearby. Try and drag him in. We want to run away here. And then we want to attack. You can find challenge at every level of this game. We did it.
Time for some dynamite.
Just taking a look around here. Bran unlocked a new ability because he hit level 5, Gathering Tools. That means when he's in here, he will collect some of the minerals and herbs for us and toss them our way. We got a new combat curio instead of Pocket Factory. Chance to summon a turret to assist you. Upon entering combat, activates the conversion matrix for 10 seconds. Damage dealt, converted into primary stat and split between other party members. Sure, we'll do that instead. We got a nice pair of pants. So we'll equip those. A little bit of loot here. And Titan discount is ready for turn in. So we're going to go back to the front of the delve. Turn those in. Overcharge console. Restore a Titan disc. Then spend it to unlock one of the starting nodes. So in order to unlock a Titan disc, we need 100 of those shards. Dagran's pouch gives us 50 more. So we obtain the Titan disc, view the console. We can pick one of these powers. Suffering damage has a chance to conjure a storm. Inflicting nature damage. Or your damaging spells have a chance to cast Titanic Pyroblast, stunning the target. Bring that back in, get a little bit more XP. So it looks like that's it for the delve. So if you're following along, you can definitely skip the second overcharge delve or the second delve. If you did it, it's just going to save us a little bit of time down the road when we hit the level cap. It did not give us the belt as far as I can tell, which is totally fine. So we're going to continue along with our campaign quests, sending us up north. You can see a lot of stuff going on the map. We have bonus objectives. They award 21,000 XP, which is not the most. We got the quest that we found in the delve. We can turn in over here, so we'll just drop that off as we're flying by.
The coreway must be protected.
The bonus objectives not nearly as good to do in the expansion compared to just turning in the quests and stuff like that. So
These damn bugs! They're attacking our injured.
Continue to fight the Nerubians.
I must
pick up that cinder brew keg. I have an idea.
We gotta fill the bar, check on Illyria Windrunner, pick up the Cinder Brew keg. Grab that now.
Now, toss it in there.
Lost the keg. Oh, looks like we're lagging a little bit. Looks like our game crashed. Just letting the computer sort itself out a little bit. There it goes.
I knew it would work. Let's light them up.
So they want me to drop this cinder brew here. Looks like it does damage them a little bit. So I can be using it on the critters themselves. We're really lagging here. Yep, does a little bit of damage. Does a lot of bit of damage.
Find cover, quickly!
More to kill.
I will crush you. I will crush all of you. Nerubians, rise!
Where is she? Where is Zalatath? She must suffer for what she has done.
The core way is severed. You will never reach the Harbinger.
Have you heard anything I need to know?
They're retreating. Your
Turn to Moira and Dornegal. So this will be a good spot for us to talk about two areas. Talk about professions. Do some quest turn-ins. So the archaic cipher key that we got from that first delve, when we turn it in, we're going to get 3K Delver's Journey and Undercoin, along with Resonance Crystals. Resonance Crystals are just a currency to buy like some transmog stuff, and the Hellcaller chest. So we'll talk about those. So Delver's Journey is essentially like a renowned system for delves. You will see what that looks like if you look at this book near Bran. It's going to show you your Delver's Journey in the War Within Season 2. As you go up along through here, you're going to get schematics for a mount that's related to delves. You're going to get coffer keys, and more things will unlock that'll be purchasable with Undercoin. Undercoin, which we just got 1,500 of, you get at the end of every delve, and you can get it a lump sum of 1,500 every week. You can spend that on certain things like the Delver Starter Kit, which is going to contain coffer keys. That's actually free, but restored coffer keys, this is what allows you to unlock a chest at the end of what's called a bountiful delve. And then the Wave Scrambler 2000, this is going to be what summons a kind of a secret boss inside of a delve that will give you a bountiful map that can be used to get you hero gear which is going to be heroic level rating gear. So one of our goals when we reach level cap will be to get a map and do a tier 8 bountiful delve with that map, which will be a little bit of a challenge because we're going to want to we're not going to have the best gear right out of the gate, so we're going to have to gear up a little bit in order to get that. So we just sold our junk. I'm just organizing the inventory real quick. Maybe I'll just click sort bag. The Hellcaller chest, this is the third event that's happening right now. So the Hellcaller chest is what you receive from doing any of the weekly content, and it's related to an event called the Greedy Emissary event, which is every like half hour there are goblins that are popping up, goblins from Diablo 4, either in the Undermine or in Dornegal or Stormwind or Orgrimmar. And if you kill those goblins, you can get a mount, you can get toys, you can get pets, but you also get those Hellcaller chests, which had that currency that you saw there. It's under miscellaneous. They're called Hellstone shards. You can turn in 40 Hellstone shards for a transmog set in Dornegal. So that's one way where you can get a cool piece of armor or a cool armor set to transmog, is through that event that's happening right now, although it does not last. I think it lasts the same time as the lasts through the month of July. So he wants us to hand out pamphlets to the workers.
Our forged paths intertwine.
Zalatath basically went down this big hole. It's called the Core Way. She's up to no good down there, so we're going to chase her around for a little bit. It's important to them, the residents of Dornegal, because it's access to the inner workings of Azeroth.
Repairs will be wasted if we're attacked again. We need to bolster our defenses.
And the end of this campaign, maybe not the end, but the next portion of this campaign is actually to complete a dungeon called the Rookery. There's a couple ways that you can complete this dungeon. One is through the regular group finder. So dungeons and raids, specific dungeons, the Rookery. I think if you do a random dungeon for the War Within, it's going to force you into the Rookery, so that would be with live players. You can also do this through follower dungeons. And so follower dungeons, it'll show you kind of how to queue for these. And follower dungeons will fill your group with your missing party members. So I'm going to be in here as a damage dealer. It's going to have a non-player character NPC version of a tank, a healer, and 2 other DPS. So you can see Baelgrim here is our tank, Freysworn Chelsea is our healer, and 2 other followers. And they give us mage food, which is a useful little hack. And you can toggle to allow a follower to lead the dungeon. So like obviously this is the first time that you've ever seen this dungeon. So you can toggle this so that he will kind of take the lead and you can just do damage.
Why are these Stormrooks tethered here?
Alternatively, you can continue to control the group and they'll just wait for you to attack something before joining in.
We can fly there. Coratine, what are you doing? Stop this. Outlander, with me.
And it's a great way to just kind of like see some quick examples of like what the dungeon is without having to worry about other people. It's just me in here, but this is how the dungeon is. When you go in for the first time, you have to kill that guy, that mini boss. You have to go in and free these Stormrooks and fly across to this big tower. So the next time you come in here, if it's with a full group, you'll have a full understanding. of kind of like where you need to go. So we'll keep plugging along here.
Gorin, what have you done?
Oop, hopefully we don't die. Looks like we're gonna die. Looks like somebody saved us.
The title, the throne, it should have been mine, Pilgrim. You never deserved to be Stormward.
I left Gorin, my second, in charge of the...
So now we will actually kind of start talking about the dungeons, because the Rookery is a dungeon in Season 2, so you're going to see more of it when we complete more of this challenge and start doing Mythic Plus dungeons. It, as far as I can remember, it's not a dungeon that's going to be in Season 3. So you saw kind of the first portion of the dungeon. We were on that platform. We freed the Storm Rooks, and that guy that we were fighting that had a pink name on my nameplate, he does a frontal AoE ability that will really, really hurt you in endgame dungeons. And what we're doing right now is we're clearing our way around. This is the first boss, Kyrios. We're pulling the different trash packs around, and it looks like one of our NPC party members just pulled the whole boss. So right now we're actually getting a lot of different mechanics. Some of them are coming from the boss, and some of them are coming from the mobs that we're fighting. And the reason that you clear the whole room first before you pull the boss is because of this ability here. At a certain energy level, the boss is going to fly to the middle. He's going to do that big beam attack, and you're going to have to run around the outside of the room so that you don't get hit, because on a higher difficulty level, the beam will one-shot you. Then he comes back down, he does this phase where he sends some lightning out. He puts circles around every group member, so you have to spread out and make sure you don't overlap. And then you can see his energy bar down here. When that reaches 100 energy, he's going to fly back into the middle. We're going to kill him first, though.
You deserved a better right.
So normally when you do this dungeon with a regular group, you'll come in, you'll clear the trash packs around the edge of the room, and then you'll attack the boss so that you have the whole vicinity of the room to run around. And then when he's dead, you just drop down here, pick up one of the feathers, and free these imprisoned Storm Rooks. They'll give you a little bit of a damage buff. You can see here, 5-minute damage buff. Storm Rook's favor, inflicting 2,000 nature damage to a random enemy every 1 second. Then down here, what folks normally do is kind of sneak by this guy just by walking along this wall. We'll see if... Nope, they can't do it. They can't handle it. So we'll fight them. They're going to make us fight the whole room, I'm sure. So normally you would sneak by that pack, pull this pack. A pack refers to multiple mobs. Mobs are enemies. Pull that pack into this group down here. And even the enemies, just the normal mobs, have abilities. Every pack, you'll notice, might have like a caster, might have a lieutenant or somebody with higher HP. This guy does an ability two abilities actually, Attracting Shadows and Arcing Void, I think is the other one. So one, it pulls everybody in, makes it challenging for casters because they have to keep running out of it. And then he'll put a circle around somebody that you want to spread out for. And you can see with my nameplates, with that Jundi's Plater profile that we installed last time, when I go into these dungeons, I can actually see mobs are colored different things. So mobs that don't do much are just red. Lieutenant mobs that are a little bit more important are this purple color. Mobs that cast are a blue color, so I can know that I need to kick them. And then we're coming up on the next boss here. Stormguard Gorin. He has some pretty cool and interesting mechanics. Talk about them in just a second. We're killing these guys. So he's got a few different mechanics. He starts off just by attacking the tank. And he's going to cast Chaotic Corruption. You can see it puts this purple arrow over my head and this blue or purple AoE on, purple aura on Mythic Plus difficulty and higher difficulties. That aura will actually bounce to different players, and you don't want to get it twice. So you'll have to pass that around through your group. And then you can see he did kind of like a jump and a big land, and then some AoE sort of shot out of the circle. Obviously, you want to avoid that. Just looking here. Okay, Corruption Purge. So it wants us to go down below. So here's the pink one, nameplate. That's going to tell us, okay, this mob has a cast that we want to kick. Belgrim beat us to it on that one. And then we jump down here.
The same dark magic that was emanating from the storm.
They should all portal down with us. Yep, here they come.
What? I do not like that it feels darker and colder as we go.
And this is the normal pathing that you would experience in a group. So we're not really skipping too much of anything here that you would normally skip.
We will have to go down the Storm Rider way. Follow me.
And these guys, the Void Extractors, they have a lot of health. You can see everything around it died quickly, but this guy's still up. He puts these purple circles on the ground, and then eventually he does a damaging aura that will hit pretty hard. So. All right, Belgrim, pick this guy up. Thank you. Follower dungeons are a little unique. Your normal experience would actually be like what would happen if I toggled this. So like I just changed it over to let Belgrim lead. Normally your tank will go in and... Where is my tank? And deal and lead the way. No, he looks like a shaman tank. Those little guys, when they die, they leave this explosion on the ground, so we don't want to stand in that. And then this is pretty much the end of the first dungeon. We're coming up on the final boss here. He's going to get summoned through this little portal. We just got to pull these. And when this boss gets summoned, he actually knocks you back. So if you're doing this in a group, you want to try and make sure you're not too close to this edge of this dock, because you will get knocked into the water. If you get knocked into the water, you gotta swim all the way over here and walk back up. Oh, looks like we're going. Now, this boss is really interesting because it requires your group to spread out. So he starts with this big shield on him, and you can see it'll go away eventually. And when the shield goes away, he'll be exposed. You can see he's weakened by the Storm's Vengeance, and he takes increased damage. So damage taken increased by 100%. So you actually want to save your cooldowns for when this shield is down. And that's actually going to bypass all the other mechanics of this fight because we killed it so fast. The other mechanics of this fight are a curse that he'll put out onto 2 party members that the healer will dispel. When it's dispelled, it leaves a growing puddle that makes it so that the area fills up pretty quickly. And then he will also put big light blue circles around the DPS players and the healer, and there'll be 3 light blue spikes, one on this side, one on the back end, and one on this side. And you will want to take your light blue circle and run it over to one of the spikes. When that expires, it's going to erase the spike. If the spikes are not broken, it'll summon an ad, which will just take longer to kill the boss. So shield phase, curse, spikes. But we just finished the quest. So we're gonna, I think we can right click our character and say leave instance group. It's gonna teleport us out of the dungeon. And it's ready for turn in down here. So we just did a follower dungeon. You can see here the loot. I mean, we did get a ring. We got some vendor trash. It's not really a great way to like farm anything or to make money. But it can be a good way to just like experience the dungeon on your own terms and your own pace, without any social pressures or anything.
I have work to do.
We're going to skip the conversation with Baelgrim. You can listen to that if you want to. Baelgrim's going to take us out to Cinderbrew Meadery. This is where we're going to hatch a plan against the Nerubians. Before we do that, we're going to just talk a little bit about professions. So I talked about professions earlier on. I kind of gave you a brief overview. There are a bunch of different professions. There's one for each armor type. So leather wearers like rogues and druids and monks. Leather working is really good. Leather working is fueled by skinning. You skin mobs or beasts as you kill them, and you get leather, and you get mail, you get hide, and you can turn that into armor. So leather working is for leather wearers and for mail wearers. You get hide or you get leather. So shamans, evokers, hunters, those are the mail wearers. Can be a pretty good combo. Not my top recommendation. I'll talk about my top recommendation. Cloth wearers, you have tailoring. Tailoring, you gain cloth as soon as you learn tailoring from killing humanoids in whatever expansion you're in. Blacksmithing is down here in the forge. So blacksmithing is going to be plate armor and a variety of weapons like swords, the martial weapons, swords, shields, stuff like that. Jewel crafting is going to be rings, necklaces, and gems. You'll eventually get gear with sockets in them, and you can put gems in there to customize your stats a little bit more. Jewel crafters can also craft the sockets for necklaces and rings in the War Within Season 2 or the War Within expansion. Inscription has a bunch of a variety of things, ways to increase your profession knowledge, which we'll talk about in another video. Staves, offhands, so like caster weapons or agility staves can be crafted by scribes. And then alchemy. Alchemy is going to be potions, Alchemy is fueled by herbalism. Herbalism is picking flowers. And then down over in this corner is enchanting. Enchanting is a good one to partner up with tailoring because tailoring is self-sufficient. For blacksmithing, tool crafting, you can pair that with mining. For leather working, you can pair with skinning. For alchemy, you can pair with herbalism. So tailoring and enchanting go really well. All of your gear, your weapons, your chest piece, your cloak, your bracers, your boots, your legs, can all be enchanted. So enchanters make those. They also craft wands and a variety of different other things. So, and then the one that's not pictured here, I think it's actually in the forge, is engineering. So engineering is also fueled by mining. They can craft bracers and helmets with specific engineering slots called tinker slots. Tinker slots allow you to customize some things, gives you a better chance of resurrecting a player with a combat resurrection called jumper cables. The two that are the most common among high-end PvE players are going to be engineering and alchemy. Alchemy doesn't provide any additional player power, but it allows for the consumables that are created by alchemists to last longer. So what we're going to be taking for our professions are going to be alchemy and herbalism, because our goal is to get that 3K rating.
Do you have a query?
So we want our alchemy buffs to last longer, and I want to try and save a little bit of money or make a little bit of money by wait, I think I need that. Save a little bit of money or make a little bit of money by crafting our own potions and our own flasks and elixirs. So I'm just doing a little bit of vendoring, trying to get rid of some of the old gear. I'm going to hold on to some of the trade goods. Because I want to sell those. So the caddy oils and the charm cap. And we'll quickly talk about selling things. And we'll talk about profession equipment. So I think there's a quest to unlock profession equipment over here, but it might not be available until, well, let's see. Here's the profession equipment specialist.
High mountain stands. Look to the skies. We are the Titan's bedrock and foundation.
So you can talk about crafting orders here. This will give you some starting materials. So we'll do that quest. Crafting orders are the new system in the War Within for getting gear crafted. So when you pick a profession, you'll actually get access to this quest. It's going to give us some crafting reagents. So it's going to give us artisan acuity, which is useful for crafting the gear that we need at max level. So we want that. We want to hold on to that. And then it's also useful for alchemists to help discover different recipes. So the second quest sent us over here to talk to the alchemy crafter. Wish I had a reagent bag, so I will probably potentially try and purchase one of them. We have not talked about the auction house, so we're going to talk about the auction house briefly right now. The auction house in Dornagal can be found over here. You can also find certain people riding around on dinosaurs that have auction houses on them. This is where you can go to buy and sell items. So I mentioned these crafting items, the vial of Kaheti oils and the Viridian charm cap. They're actually worth significantly less than I thought they were. They used to be worth a decent amount, but with the increased popularity of delves, it seems like it's kind of died down a little bit. I'm still going to list these for sale because money is money and we're here. So I'll walk you through like how to list an auction and how the auctions work. to list something, you can open up the auctioneer and you can just right click and it's going to automatically bring you over to the sell tab, and it's going to show you what the current unit price is and how many sellers there are. So the Viridian Charm Caps have 18 units, 11 different sellers. The way that the auction house works is actually FIFO, if you're familiar with economics, first in, first out. So what you actually want to do when you're selling, if you want to get it sold as quick as possible, is undercut by a silver, which is fine, but the other people that make crafting and money making a big part of their game will get mad at you for this. But what you want to do is keep it up for the shortest amount of time to be the lowest duration. So we're just gonna create these auctions. You can see there's already been a jump in the stock that's on here. So we'll do the same thing for the Caddy oils. We'll sell those. And then when you want to buy something, you flip over to the buy tab and you can see all the different categories. You can buy weapons, you can buy armor, you can buy gems, item enhancements, which are going to be your enchants, consumables like food, potions, flasks, glyphs to change your character's abilities a little bit. You can buy crafting reagents, recipes, profession equipment, which is what we're actually going to purchase right now. All sorts of different stuff, mounts, miscellaneous, whatever you might need. So profession equipment is gear that you can equip to help you with your profession. So what I want to do is, because we're going to be out in the open world and we might see some herbs that we want to pick, I just want to pick up the cheapest herbalism profession equipment that I can. So some of this has static stats. So the 564 Gardener's Basket, all of them have finesse, which is a crafting stat. It's not like the stats you've seen here. I can talk about crafting stats too. And gathering stats, I want to buy a proficient sickle. So the sickles have finesse, perception, and deftness. Gathering and crafting professions have different stats. Perception is the ability to find rare materials. So normally when I'm just like picking flowers, I'll get the base level. But you can also pick up rare reagents in here. So perception increases the chance of you getting rare items. Finesse increases the ability to get the base item. So you get a bigger quantity of the base item. And then deftness is just gathering speed. So for gathering, good rule of thumb is either finesse or perception, depending on what you're targeting. And then I want to get a Weaver Cloth Gardening hat. And you got to be careful when you're buying stuff from the auction house. Look out for folks like the people that are selling these lower level proficient sickles. So the item level is displayed here. You can see 564 Gardener's Basket, 564 Proficient Sickle. That's rank 5 or rank 3. Then rank 4, rank 2 is going to be 557. So that's a lower rank, and for some reason they're charging more. You don't want to buy that. You want to make sure you're buying the right item. So highest item level, Weaver Cloth Gardening Hat. It's just going to give us more stats. You can see here 547 item level, 77 deftness, 77 perception, and 551. Not only is it the cheapest one, but it's also 81 deftness and 81 perception. So we're just going to pick those up. They also increase our herbalism skill. We could also pick up the ones for alchemy too. So why not? We'll grab the apothecary cap. These are static stats, so we just buy the cheapest one. Alchemist mixing rod. These are crafting stats. So the crafting stats are ingenuity, which we'll talk about when we get deeper into crafting, but it allows you to have a breakthrough, which will save you on a resource used to craft higher level stuff. Crafting speed, which just allows you to craft faster. And then multi-craft. Multi-craft is basically a chance to proc to craft more of what you're crafting. So for For alchemy, for leveling up, and for some certain things, ingenuity is actually pretty good. And then multi-craft is what you want, because you want to have a better chance of crafting 3 or 4 potions instead of just the one. So the price difference is like 1. There's one more crafting stats called resourcefulness. This increases your % chance to save on reagents. So I'm actually going to purchase this one because when I'm leveling up my profession, I want to save as many reagents as I can. So we bought the cap, the mixing rod. We're going to buy the robe now. The robe has static stats for resourcefulness and crafting speed. So I'm just picking these up. If you pick a different profession, like you want to do leatherworking and skinning, that's no problem. You can do that too. I'm going to go back out. Once you purchase something, it'll get mailed to you. You go back out to the mailbox, you click open all. And then for profession equipment, all you have to do is right click it, and it's just going to automatically open up the profession window. And in the top right, you'll see your profession equipment. So I'm just dropping in the alchemy stuff. We can see here it's 3 slots: head, chest, and tool. And then for herbalism, it is, I think, 2 tools, a sickle, a basket, and a hat. You can see it'll equip it on your character. So I've got a heck of a transmog going on now. You can, if you don't like the way that these look, you can actually go and talk to this profession equipment specialist and say, I don't want to see my accessories. Only show my fishing rod while fishing, gathering tools while gathering. That'll just turn that off. So that's a little brief 101 on professions. I really recommend, if you're going to be doing PvE content, you'll save a lot of money by picking alchemy and herbalism, or at least alchemy. You don't need to you can pick any 2 that you want when it comes to professions. So if you wanted to, as a rogue, I could pick leatherworking and I could pick alchemy, and I could craft my own armor. The thing with not choosing a gathering profession is obviously you have to purchase that from other gatherers. So materials can be expensive in the beginning of an expansion, but like right now they're pretty cheap. So you can really do whatever you want. I'm just going to pick gathering because I want to save a little bit of money. And I'm going to be going through all these different zones anyways to level up. So I might as well pick some herbs along the way. Trying to remember exactly where it is, but you should. Okay, this little tracking icon will allow you to track herbs. So find herbs is on. And I'm just flying out just to show you an example. It's this little leaf icon. And you just walk up to it and right click and you gather the herbs. We'll talk about profession knowledge too when we get a little bit further along. That's how we're going to make it so that we can extend the duration of our flasks and get additional bonuses from potions. You do get a tiny sliver of experience from this too. There are people that have leveled up just from picking herbs, so you can, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can see you get 1300 XP just from picking the herb, and you get a skill point. And here you can see crystalline powder. That's an example of what you would get with perception alongside just the regular basic reagent. So I think that's where we're going to end it for today. We didn't hit level 75, but we did hit level 73, so that's good. You can see here it definitely slows down in terms of your leveling, but if you were really putting your mind to it and plugging along doing the campaign, you could definitely hit 75 in like 3 hours. And it would have you really working towards the next zone. That will come with our next session. We'll talk about the next zone. I did promise that I would show you how to get a cool set of gear so that you don't have to walk around looking like a clown. So I will show you how to do that really quick. And it's going to be a little bit more of an advanced tutorial. One thing that you could do is research on Wowhead the Greedy Emissary event and you can stick around looking for those goblins and looting those chests, and you'll get 40 Hellstone shards. And you can walk over to this guy on the map. His name is, I think, Baranar. And he's in Dornegal, right near the foregrounds. And he is a vendor that will have transmog. So the rogue transmog is here. It looks pretty cool. It's got like this black sort of look to it. Whatever class you're wearing, this is paladin, this is mage, this is evoker, demon hunter, death knight, druid, hunter, monk, priest, one for every class. So one quick way that you could get a cool armor appearance is just by collecting those hell shards from the greedy emissary. There's also a chance to get a mount, which would be really cool. The other thing that you can do, especially at this item level, is you can do any of the old world content, but you're probably going to have to look up how to get to where you want to go. So if you want to farm a piece of gear or do some old raids, you can go, just like I did earlier, you can click, sorry, we'll wait for the loading screen here. You can click Shift J and go to, oops, sorry, you can click Shift P and go to Sets and scroll down to find something that you might like. And it will show you where you can get that. So this is the Netherblade set. It comes from Gruul's Lair along with some other dungeons. You can look up Netherblade set on Wowhead and it'll show you where to go to get those. So if there's something cool that you like, this is a great time during the bounty event to go and farm that. There's also a good chance of getting mounts and different things. And then the other thing that you can do if you want a cool set, I think there's actually a couple different places we can go. So I just portaled back to Orgrimmar and I want to check these legacy vendors. And I'm looking for any ensembles. So this gear can also be purchased, it can just be purchased with gold. So you can see here the Black Fang armor. You can buy this entire ensemble straight from this vendor for gold. So if that's something that you like, you can just get this right in Orgrimmar. Oh, sorry, no, this is where you turn in the tier tokens. So if you went out and you were doing the legacy content, this is where you would turn those in. I do believe that some of it is purchasable. So here we can get the Dark Phoenix tunic, the gloves, the leg guards, the helmet, and the shoulders, just for a couple of silver. You can also pick up some complimentary bracers. They probably match as well. And you can sell them back to the vendor for a little bit, or in a little bit. You can look at some of the other vendors too. They'll have other items that you can purchase.
Go forth to victory.
But now when I go into my appearance collection, I can actually see this tier set from the Firelands. I have the helmet, shoulders, chest piece, gloves, and pants. I'm missing the boots. Those come from normal Firelands. I'm missing the belt. That's a world drop and a vendor. So the flame binding girdle, it's probably right behind me. And then Alyss Resort normal and the flame binder bracers. So I'm just going to take a quick look. Flame binder bracers, I just purchased those. They just haven't gone into my appearance collection yet. And then I'm looking for the belt, flame binder belt. Not seeing it. It's okay. You can always look up something on Wowhead if you need it. So that got me even more of the set. So I'm just missing 2 pieces from getting this full set, which looks pretty cool. The other thing that you can do, we'll talk about the portal room. So when you're going and doing research about different sets and collecting, there's a bunch of different ways to get to old legacy content. So for a lot of the content from Cataclysm in Orgrimmar, you can actually fly over to this little area here, and you can see these different portals that'll bring you to Deepholm, High Jaw, to Twilight Highlands, to Oldham. There's access to different areas, different raids. And then the other area that we have is the portal room. So in Orgrimmar's here for Alliance characters, it's in Stormwind in the Mage Quarter. And the portal room will provide you access to a bunch of different portals. So I took a portal into Orgrimmar that dumped me out at the start of this portal room. But if you walk in here, this portal, Dead of Head, will bring you to Azuna for Legion. This one will bring you to Zoldazar for Battle for Azeroth. This one will bring you to the Jade Forest for Mists of Pandaria. This one will bring you to Dalaran Crystal Song Forest. So this is Wrath of the Lich King. This portal will bring you to Oribos, which is the Shadowlands. Here's Valdrakken for Dragonflight. And then this one brings you to Silvermoon, which is just on the other continent, if you ever needed to get over there quickly. You can't fly here, so I wouldn't actually recommend taking this one. And then downstairs, there's some more portals, one of which is to get back to where we just were. So we'll come in here. So we have Dornogal, which is the current expansion. We have Shatrath, which is the Burning Crusade. We have the Caverns of Time, which are down here in Daenerys. This is where we can go to do our Warband quest. And then Ashran, which is Warlords of Draenor. So basically you can come in and you can look for any of these different sets, Firelands, Mists of Pandaria, and you can take the corresponding portal and find the corresponding raid. So I'll just walk through a little example. Say we really wanted to get this set from Ulduar. We would look up Ulduar on Wowhead. We would see that Ulduar is a Wrath of the Lich King expansion. We would go to upstairs to the portal to Dalaran, Crystal Song Forest, which would take us up to Northrend. And then on the maps in Northrend, you can see the different raids. So Ulduar is up here to the north, Trial of the Crusader, different dungeons are blue. Icecrown has Icecrown Citadel, Vault of Archivon. There's a little one over here called the Eye of Eternity. So different raids in different zones, different dungeons and different zones that are available. Dragon Soul, Ruby Sanctum, Obsidian Sanctum. So we're actually going to do that real quick because there's another place where you can go to get most of a set that probably looks pretty cool. And if you're watching this video while the collector's bounty event is going on, you could actually clear through this whole dungeon or this whole raid. But we're going to go out to Wrath of the Lich King expansion. And we're going to hop on. And yeah, you'll see, oh boy, Dalaran, like it's back. No, that we just kind of popped through time with this one. And we're going to fly around. We're going to zoom our map out. And what we're going to do is we're going to head to Icecrown Citadel, which is very close to Dalaran. So it's just off to the west. It's this big tower here. And Icecrown Citadel, this is the raid that ends with the Lich King. So it's a really, really popular raid, really fun. This raid actually has, at the end, one of the more sought after mounts. It is called Invincible. So if you go to Icecrown Citadel, down to the Lich King, doesn't actually look like it shows. There it is. Invincible as Reigns. It's a cool undead horse. So if you're doing this during the collector's event, you can actually get an increased drop chance. You can see there's a lot of people here doing this right now. When you do legacy content, one thing to keep in mind is that the content had different difficulties back then. So if you right click your character portrait under raid difficulty, you'll see you can set normal, heroic, and mythic. We didn't have mythic back then. We had normal and heroic, and then there were different sizes. So I'm just going to set this one to heroic 25 man, and you're going to want to do heroic if you're going after invincible. You have to go through the entire raid and complete every fight. I would recommend watching a video. But to get that cool little quick set that I was talking about, you can actually just go into the beginning of the Icecrown Citadel, and there are class trainers in here. Death Knight, and none of them are over here. You can see Death Knight, Warrior, Legacy Justice Quartermaster. So this is similar to the guy from earlier. You can buy a set here for just a couple gold. This is the Relentless Gladiators leather tunic, gloves, leg guards, helmet, and spalders. They look like this.
Have a good one. Dark Lady, watch over you.
Priest armor, Warlock armor, Druid, and Rogue armor. So for just a little bit of copper, we can buy another partial set. For Rogue, it looks a little bit funky, but I'm just going to pick it up because I think it's kind of cool. So the Shadow Blade set, so I'm just going to buy these pieces, and that's going to add them to my collection. You can see here, if I click Shift P, it'll open up to what I just discovered here. I have everything except for boots and belt. Those drop from Icecrown Citadel on 10-player normal. We have different tints for 25-player heroic. So I could go in here and I could clear out the raid and loot the different things. I have it set to 25-player heroic just because I want to make sure. But you could get this. So two quick ways to get some different sets, 3 quick ways actually. And then I'll just show you a quick example of just like how easy some of this content is. So even if you weren't just like stealthing by, you can see I'm doing 8 million damage. I'm just like one-shotting each trash mob. So like when it comes to this boss, I can walk in here and I can just shoot him in the face. And this is what it looks like during the collector's bounty. So I just got all these different pieces of transmog. I got a cloth belt. I got a leather hands. I filled up part of my inventory. So it's a super, super great time to be a collector. And you can just zoom through the raid. And some of the bosses, they'll have their own unique abilities. Might require some RP or something like that. You can see even this stuff, it sells, covers the cost of the stuff I bought earlier. Sells for between 5 and 15 gold each. And to clear Icecrown Citadel, you just go through and kill the boss, teleport to the rampart. We're going to go over to the gunship battle. This is what's considered one of the most annoying parts about ICC. It's not the most efficient gold farm. You'll actually, I mean, we made 4,000 gold. You can see just clearing this, I'm only making, 10 gold per piece, but pops, I mean, between 2 and 10 gold per piece. So it's not the most efficient way to make money, but it's a great way to unlock appearances, get some transmog and stuff like that.
Now is not the time.
Rise up, sons and daughters of the Horde.
I'm just going to see what happens if we go all the way to Arthas, because I think it'd be hilarious if this brand new character on a brand new account, even though it's during Collector's Bounty, was able to pull out an Invincible on the first Lich King kill. If not, I get some armor that I can vendor.
Something approaching in the distance.
Here's our completed ensemble that we bought from the trading post, so that's another great way. This is what we got from completing the Dragonflight expedition. Looks pretty bad. I don't remember exactly how to do gunship.
Attack! You answer to you dare board my ship. Your death will come swiftly.
Oh, okay, that was easy. We finish?
You will know our business soon. Corkron, annihilate them!
Ship armory. Okay, it looks like all you have to do is shoot it once and kill 2 guys. You get more transmog as a trinket. So here I'm starting to unlock the rogue transmog, which is great. So I got the heroic chest piece for this stinky version. Now we have to wait a little bit for Sourfang. He's part of the next fight. You might be like, I'm getting whiplash over here with all the different talk to Sourfang. He'll start the event. You know, this is a totally different timeline. It happened years ago. There's plenty of videos where you can learn about the lore of the Lich King. It's good. It's a good story. A lot of people agree that's what the first Warcraft movie should have been about. We're just waiting for this RP, role-playing, to start. You can see we got a good amount of bosses in here, so...
What chance do you have? I am stronger and more powerful than you ever were.
We named him Dranosh. It means Heart of Draenor in Orcish. I would not let the warlocks take him. My boy would be safe, hidden away by the elders of Garadar.
A lot of orc lore going on here, Death Knight lore.
His mother before she died, that I would cross the dark portal alone. Whether I lived or died, my son would be safe, untainted. Today, I fulfill that promise.
Pathetic old orc. Come then, heroes. Come and face the might of the Scourge. By the might I...
His loot's over in this chest over here. Whoa. So these right here, these are tier tokens. So these are back what I had mentioned earlier. They can be turned into those vendors like in Orgrimmar for pieces of gear. So we have, they're broken down by class. So Rogue, Death Knight, Mage, Druid, all part of the same one. We got 2 of those. So I'm just going to hold on to those. That's what's going to help us get things like chest piece.
You will have a proper ceremony in Nagrand.
And some of the other main pieces for the different tints. We actually, I think we want that one too, so I'm just gonna make this one. They're all the same. Whatever, that's fine. And it's all bound to your warband now. So warbands, I mentioned they were a feature that was available that became available with the War Within. Before this expansion, these different pieces, if you looted them on your rogue, that was it. If they didn't apply to your rogue, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't unlock anything, and if you ran this on a different character, you wouldn't unlock it on your rogue. So warbands were a big benefit to collectors. You can run these things pretty constantly. So we're just gonna kill these bosses. Can't remember if we have to kill everything in this room or not. The way that this boss room works, if you go left, is killing these bosses at the top and the bottom release goo into these tubes, which then opens up This is a little bit unfortunate because I think it'll mail it to us, so I guess we'll just leave it and we'll test it and we'll find out. But I kind of did want to unlock all this different transmog, but you can see my inventory is full. Normally what'll happen in this situation is it'll go to your mailbox if you can't loot it, so we'll see.
No! You keep stinking!
World of Warcraft loves its like nods to other nerdy fandoms and pop culture. So this boss is actually not a riff, but an homage, I guess, to the professor from Futurama.
Terrible news, everyone. Rotface is dead. But great
Oh, I forgot to
news,
open the
everyone.
tube.
He left behind. Great news, everyone. The slime is flowing again.
That opens up this door, which allows us to fight these insects. It takes a little while to kill them if you're in Outlaw Road. You can see here, like, my health isn't even going down, like, not a problem at all. Oh, you don't have to just stand here and kill them. Good for me.
Good news, everyone. I think I've perfected a plague that will destroy all.
I just want to make sure, so I'm going to pick up sanctification ones just so that we have them. Man, this is going to take forever. I think Vathria Dreamwalker I actually have to be a healer for. I don't know if they've actually changed that at all, so I might have to skip that one. But just in this one run alone, we're unlocking a bunch of different things. We've gotten a couple pieces for our funny rogue set. But we're also getting items too for weapons and stuff. So you can see, I don't think we've gotten any fist weapons, but probably gotten a dagger or two. Doesn't look like it. Here's a bow that we unlocked. So you'll unlock a bunch of different items and transmogs and stuff.
Foolish mortals. You thought us defeated so easily. The Sand Lane are the Lich King's immortal soldiers. Now, you shall face their might combined. Rise up, brothers, and destroy our enemies!
Naxanar was merely a setback. My queen, they come.
We got a cool mace, Crypt Maker. Like I said, I'm pretty positive that all this gets mailed to us. So we've killed 2, and our goal here is to kill each wing so that we unlock the main sort of console. So now we're going upstairs to fight Blood Queen. It's Blood Queen.
You have made an unwise. We were all
Glacial Wall, cool shield. Wicked cool shield. Holy. A couple more tier pieces. Looks like we did get one for Rogue. So we're gonna grab that one. All these can be turned in back at the start of the dungeon, start of the raid. Drop down here to escape quickly. Go over to the last section where we fight some dragons.
Ready your arms, my Argent brothers. The Vrykul will protect the Frost Queen with their lives.
Even dying here beats spending another day collecting reagents for that madman Finkelstein.
Miserable.
Enough idle banner. Our champions have arrived.
I don't actually know if you need to kill these, but
Please burn my
You may have won.
push on!
The afterlife.
Hurry! Before that Valkyrie picks us off! How worthy. Her reinforcements will arrive shortly. We must bring her down quickly.
Foolish Croc. You brought my reinforcements with you. Arise, Argent champions, and serve the Lich King in death.
No! No!
Come, Scourgebane. I'll show the Master which of us is truly worthy of the title of champion.
I'll draw her attacks. Return our brothers to their graves. Then help me bring her down. Intruders have breached the inner sanctum. I'll remain an informed team.
this is a boss. They don't really do these too much anymore. What they'll do is they'll actually have you heal.
Lend me your aid. I cannot hold them off much
And as a
longer.
rogue, I have no way of healing. What they'll do
The loss of our comrades was unpreventable.
is they'll put a friendly mob in there, and they'll ask you to heal it. So the healers have this like healing task to do. I guess they do some of this, just not the same way anymore.
Much healing can save me now. Fight on, brothers.
These orbs do anything? Nightmare portal. Okay, yeah, I think I just have to skip that one. That's okay. Looks like she drops anything too crazy. Is this oh, it's an elevator. Always got to be careful with elevators in this game. You drop to your death. So we're just 2 away. We just got to fight Cindergosa. And then we got to fight the Lich King. We'll see if we get a cool mount.
Must not approach the Frost Queen. Quickly, stop them!
You can see some reoccurring trends here, right? We're actually fighting Nerubians, which is the main enemy that we're also fighting in the War Within, because they are all denizens of Azeroth. So you'll often find villains and villain archetypes or races come back. Particularly demons, because demons are kind of built into the lore. Is when you kill a demon, it doesn't actually die, it always returns to the demonic realm. And the same is true, well, the same is not true, but those trends seem to continue pretty often. I saw the door open, so I'm just going to run into Cindergosa real quick. I think we have to kill all the trash. Yeah, I mean, it kind of takes maybe not the fun out of it, but you know, you're just kind of going through and one-shotting everything, but kind of adds some fun, but it takes a little bit of the narrative and the challenge out of the fights. You still got plenty of RP, plenty of voice lines. Another piece of rogue stuff. This is actually a pet, Blood Boil. So I'm just gonna use it in order to free up some space. Here's another pet, so we'll grab that one. And this teleporter will take us back. I can't remember exactly where it wants us to go. Well, perfect, the last one. Then we just run into the middle. That'll take us up to the Lich King. We'll start some RP with Tyrion Fordring, who will talk to the Lich King. Pretty epic battle. And so like all of this content is available for you upon hitting level 70. Even if you didn't buy the War Within, like this would still be available to you at the base subscription. You can see here with minimal gear. You're just one-shotting bosses and going through, and you can do this once per week per character for any raids and per difficulty, with the exception of some unique situations. But like you can do Shadowlands, might be a little bit tougher, but you can do normal, heroic, and mythic, and collect tints, collect armor, collect pets, collect transmog, weapon appearances, and mounts. This is just one way that people enjoy World of Warcraft in retail. It's just collecting all these different things. So you can collect all of these different armors. Oh, we're fighting the Lich King. You can collect all these different armor sets for all the different classes. Every raid has different tier sets and appearances for every class, with the exception of the ones that came out in BFA and Shadowlands. Those are shared across armor types, so the leather is the same for all leather wearers, the mail is the same for all mail wearers, plate, cloth, etc. But you can literally spend countless hours just collecting all the different appearances, collect the ones that you like, think are cool. This is still doable after the Collector's Bounty as well. It doesn't have to just be during Collector's Bounty. You'll just have reduced total drop rates during that time. So I told you that we were just going to go and get an appearance, armor appearance. We did get that. We'll start the next episode by transmogging, but a little bit of bonus content here, going through Icecrown Citadel, killing the Lich King, trying to get Invincible as one of our first additional mounts. We talked about a lot of stuff today. We got to level 73, so 7 levels away from cap. We'll unlock the rest of our hero talents. And next time we'll focus a little bit less on some of the story elements, and a little bit more on the leveling aspect. So we'll go through at least 2 more zones, learn the story there. Our goal is to align level 80 with completing our first, with completing the last zone, which is going to end with further introduction to the main villain of Season 1, Queen Ansarek. Cool. let's take a look.
More lives will be consumed by your hatred.
So we got some cool weapons, some cool swords. Those will be good. Ooh, got a cutscene. I'm gonna skip that. You can go and look at it on your own if you'd like, or when you come in here to defeat that. Cool mace, cool one-handed mace. Sweet crossbow. Another one of those swords. No invincibles, reigns. That's okay. It takes time. I'm going to make a little bit of room here to pull in this tier piece. And I just want to delete those. I don't know why it keeps having me equip them. Just get rid of a couple items just in case they don't get mailed to me. I want to make sure I get them because those swords were pretty cool. So we'll pick up one of the swords, the mace, crossbow, sword. Those are all for other classes. Cool. And I don't think, okay, Portal the Light's Hammer. So this will port you back to the beginning of the dungeon right next to the armor vendors. So I can actually spend the Vanquisher's Mark of Sanctification and the original Shadowblade gauntlets to get the upgraded version here, which is a different armor color. And then you can do it again at a higher level. So see how many I got. We'll get the chest, helmet, shoulders. It looks like that was all I was able to afford. And then we have the Vanquisher's Mark. So this is another higher difficulty level. I already have the transmog appearance for the chest and the gloves. So I'm going to spend my appearances here on the helmet and the shoulders. And I'll have some extras if I can get those other pieces. But you can see here, pretty quick way to get some gear, to get some sets that'll make you look cool or better than just the base. From here, there's also portals out back to Dalaran, but we're just going to pick up where we left off. So I'm going to go into my inventory. I'm going to grab my Hearthstone. It's going to bring us back to Dornogal. And real quick, I'll talk to you a little bit about transmog. I mentioned transmog. Collecting it makes us look cooler. Well, I haven't applied it yet either, so we'll just take one quick moment. You can see here there's these yaks that have a transmogrifier vendor on them. And when you click on the transmogrifier, it's going to open up this window where you can look at your completed sets. You can look at your different armor pieces. This is my head slot, my shoulders, cloak, chest piece, bracers, etc. If there's nobody around with a mount, you can ask a guard where the transmog vendors are. So we'll find not vendors, but transmogrifier down at the bottom. He'll mark it on the map. It's over here in Dornogal. Fly over. They're usually like purple glow going on. So you can go in and just visit a static vendor. And we'll put on our Smolder Skull stuff, I think. We looted a couple cloaks while we were in there too. No belts that really fit perfectly. You can also just take off certain appearances. None of these are quite perfect, so we'll just take these for now. And then we got a couple of weapons for one-handers. You can transmog, even though I have a fist weapon equipped, you can switch between fist weapons, maces, swords, and axes. However, daggers need to be specific. So you can only transmog daggers to daggers. I'm going to equip those cool swords that we got. Picked up a green cloak along the way. I can hide my dabbard if I want to. Now we're looking pretty roguelike. You can also save them by clicking new outfit. I'll just call this one Plague Guy. And now I've got a cool outfit. Over here, just while we're at it, there's also the barber that I mentioned. So you can just walk in here, click on, and change any of the appearances that you wanted to change on the character selection screen for a small amount of gold. But that'll be it for today. We talked about a bunch of stuff. We did the War Within intro. We talked about hero talents, the trading post, professions, delves, follower dungeons, auction house, the portal room in Orgrimmar, doing old content for loot, and transmog and mounts. Same rules apply. Like we talked about looking up transmog, but you can go into the mount journal and you can see every mount that you haven't collected, and you can go and find out where they come from. Some of them are reputations, some of them come from dungeon bosses, some of them come from the trading post. So you can go through and you can look at cool things that you want to target. Any that mention that they drop in a raid, like this one from Antorus, you'll see which boss drops it. And you can go through and get all these cool different mounts from different areas and stuff. But thanks for watching. Appreciate it. This was episode 6 of the New Player's Guide to Retail World of Warcraft. I'm your host, Yogurt. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow to record another one, get us up to like 75, 76, get us closer to that milestone of hitting the level cap. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.